Hey, it's Evan. Welcome back to the Mindful 8 podcast. In today's episode, episode 17, we are talking about voluntary suffering. Voluntary suffering is simply going out of your way to suffer consciously, right? But doing it so much so that you subconsciously do it. Why do people go to the gym? Why do people put themselves through pain? It's voluntary suffering. Everything good in life comes after suffering. Failure, that's suffering. What comes after failure? Opportunity to learn, opportunity to evolve. So why I decided to talk about voluntary suffering in today's episode is because I was in the gym taking a selfie after my workout the other day, and then I made it an Instagram story, and it said, a smile like this only comes from voluntary suffering. Because we put ourselves through the gym, we tear our muscles, we injure ourselves, we put ourselves through the suffering, like when I ran a half marathon, like when I'm going to be running a marathon in December in Hawaii. I put myself through that because what comes after is so much better. And this is selfish, but there's so much truth in it, right? Same thing with college. That just hopped in my head. I know I don't need college to be successful. I'm successful now because the state of consciousness that I have evolved into, and I am still evolving into in the eternal now. I know that I am worth $10 million. I know that I run multiple businesses. I know that I have a beautiful wife and a beautiful family and I live on a beautiful farm. I know I have all that now, right? The state of consciousness is directly correlated to your success. So that being said, why do people still suffer? Involuntary suffering is unconscious. That is people not understanding that what they're putting themselves through is not beneficial. They don't get any positive return on the suffering that they go through. For example, watching the news, scrolling on Instagram, scrolling on TikTok, any social media platform, binge eating, drinking, smoking. Let's look at it this way. Drinking for 1 hour, binge drinking, or tearing your muscles for 1 hour. Which has the positive return in the end? 1 hour after drinking, hungover, feel terrible. Well, that was fun in the moment, but now I feel like shit. In the gym, well, in the moment, if you can become obsessed with it, it's good. But in the moment, I'm tearing my muscles, I'm suffering, I'm sweating, I'm grunting. But after, oh my goodness, does my body feel incredible? Oh my goodness, do I have so much energy? Yes. That's voluntary suffering. It's a conscious awareness that what I'm putting myself through is proving to be a positive return in the end. For example, sauna, cold plunge. The sauna cold plunge, as of late, is truly incredible. 20 minutes in the sauna, or rather in the sauna until I feel like I'm overheating and I'm sweating, and then going right to the cold plunge for 1 to 2 minutes is a perfect definition of voluntary suffering. It's the understanding that in that eternal now, it's hard because I affirm it's hard, but then it's like, all right, it's starting to train my mind that this is easy. This is just easy. I'm all hot in the sauna. Well, going in the cold plunges, it's just that much more easy. But then the feeling I get after, the effects on my mind, like my actual brain, the physiology of my body, right? Psychology of my mind, conscious, subconscious more importantly. That's a positive return on the voluntary suffering that I'm putting myself through. So, all this being said, what are some examples for you to begin to voluntary suffer? So, if you're a fit individual, sign up for a half marathon. Sign up for a marathon. The half marathon, my legs felt like jelly. When I finished that run, wow, did I feel incredible. And I'm really excited to start training for my upcoming marathon in December. So if you feel this urge to run, to get the body moving, get the heart beating, sign up for a marathon. You're literally forcing yourself to start training. You're literally forcing yourself to go through voluntary suffering. And that's great. Because let's say you run 5, 6 a.m. in the morning, you come back, you shower, you feel all clean. Wow, body's feeling really good, you feel awake. And then you go and read with a cup of tea or coffee, and that feels so amazing. It feels so amazing because you put yourself through that voluntary suffering. It's that subconscious awareness that you're developing. It's like, I know that this 10-mile run is a lot on my body and on my mind especially. But I know that, doing some video editing work afterwards is going to feel so good. So if you feel fit, if you feel up for it, sign up for a marathon. Literally just invest into it. Because in doing so, you're investing into yourself. You know this to be true. Another thing is moving out of your parents' house. This was a big thing for me. When I subletted my apartment back in August, it was August until February, August 2023 until February 2024, where I was home. I wasn't growing. I was comfortable. But now I have this voluntary suffering, right? I have to cook for myself, which I've always done. I have to cook for myself. I have to go get my groceries. I have to, commute to class, which was interesting. I have to invest in a gym, right? That's another thing too. It's voluntary suffering on top of voluntary suffering. While I am comfortable at times here, like having my own studio, having my own apartment that I have to take care of, I don't think it's voluntary suffering because it's become subconscious, but I have to take care of this place, right? Like I have to attend to it. But it's just natural to me because it's become a thing of autopilot, a thing on autopilot. So, and then getting in the gym, like I know I wanted to strive to put on upper body muscle. I know I wanted to strive to become more of a man. So getting a coach and a mentor who is keep me accountable, right? Becoming hard to kill. Becoming hard to kill is literally voluntary suffering. It's, in the end, it's going to be incredible. Your body's going to feel great. Your mind's going to feel sharp. But that doesn't occur if you don't put yourself through that voluntary suffering. So it's really testing and ultimately breaking your limiting beliefs. I know I could run a half marathon, 13 and a half miles. I don't know if I can run a marathon, but that was always my one fear, was fear of the unknown. And now I know the number one way to overcome the fear of the unknown is through voluntary suffering. It's facing the fear and doing it anyways. I don't know what's going to come from getting this college degree. I don't know. I'm doing it anyways. I'm making my mom proud. I don't know what's going to come from me traveling to Peru or Bali or Europe, traveling across the United States. I don't know. I don't know what's going to come from putting myself back in Philly, in cold Philly, that voluntary suffering. I don't know. But I know that what comes after, I'm going to affirm is going to be positive. But I'm also detached from the outcome, which is super, super important. I'm only focused on the eternal now, which is this voluntary suffering, this enlightenment that I'm striving for in the eternal now. This was an episode on voluntary suffering. Thank you for listening. I love you. Go suffer.